would like to start with introducing some of the books that are very useful, very helpful with the concepts, with the materials that we learn along this course. First of all, my topic is the Kaya Agama. Okay. Here is a very good book, and I believe I posted an online link. There are free copies of this book. This is an old version. The new one, it comes with a very beautiful, yeah.
This same one? This one?
Yes, that's the same one. But this is a free copy that I got from one of the temples somewhere. I don't remember. A very, very good book, very useful book. Inside, it gives you the information of the Pali Canon. We know that the Pali Canon makes up with 3 baskets. What we call here, you can see Tipi Taka. Ti is 3. Okay, and then Pitaka are the baskets. So in here we have the Vinaya, which the master talked about. That's part number 1, and then we have the Sutanta, which is the discourses, and then we have another one which I didn't put in the board. It's called the Abhidhamma commentaries. Okay, so this is a very good book that I would recommend everybody. You download, either download one if you're able to, or if you can get it from, I would say from Amazon, those copies that I got from Amazon. If you're lucky, it costs you about $4 to get a copy. So that's book number 1. Book number 2 is In the Buddha's Word. Now, I believe that a lot of us here are very familiar with this book, right, by Uncle Bodhi. Now, inside this book he arranged it in a very, very useful, very helpful sequence here. So it's a translation directly from the Sutanta. He selected some of the suttas that are very helpful with concepts and also practice in this book. I'll get to that later. And then the master is very compassionate. He gave me 5 of these books to read. This is volume number 1. Okay. They all selected translations of the Sutanta, of the sutras, of the discourses by the Buddha. So inside here, we have the Sutta Nikaya. We have the 5 Nikayas, arranged it in 5 volumes. Now, come to the big one. Sounds like I'm a salesperson. But anyhow, this is the book that I based on arranging my lecture or my teaching. This is called 阿含要略 by Yang Yuwen. If you don't recall those names, I will put an exam question on that one. But the arrangement here is actually very, very good. If you look at the slide, this is the first book, 阿含要略. Okay, the first one here. I assume that everybody will be able to read, so that's the one that I put up. But don't worry about that. I did some translation along the way. The class arrangements. Oh, and then also, what did I miss? Okay. The other one, 杂含汇编 by Venerable Insun up there. That one, maybe the master will teach us someday based on that. But I did, extract some of the points from that. Okay? If I don't understand, English then I'll go to that one and kind of pull information from there. And then, which I did not bring, is 4 bricks of books, hardcover. I would say at least as thick as this. Yes, okay, I call them bricks because they are actually very thick. So 4 Nikayas, okay, 4 of the discourses. I put up 4 because I don't have one of them. Okay, it's coming out. I think Wisdom Publishing. It's publishing it. It's called the Anguttara Nikaya, but we'll get to that. So those are my resources. As far as for class arrangements, today I'm just giving introduction. So relax, just relax. Now, class number 2, if you receive the slide file that we send out, right? Okay, if you receive that, I made a little change. Class number 2, supposedly it would be like superior training in the development of virtue and devotion. But I switched it around because as far as for Sila or for the Vinaya, I think the master is already covered in very much detail, in a way much better than I can do. So I kind of combine the virtue and discipline together. So just maybe briefly mention about the discipline. But devotion, when I look at Agama, when I look at this book here, I find that the introduction is this thick. So if I combine the 2 into the next class, I won't have enough time. So that's how I rearrange it. If you receive the file, please go ahead and change it. And then, the other one, it's already there, so you know. So, I hope everybody did your pre-class reading. Very good. Very good. Actually, it's not that much. Dave, why are you smiling? I assume that you did it. Good, very good. The first one is actually Guide to the Tipitaka. I kind of, would like you guys to know, to maybe have a little bit of information what is Vinaya and what is the Sudanta. So those are, very short readings in here. Now, and then the other one is I find it very interesting. Like I said, I'm a salesperson today. It's this book, In the Buddha's Word, and the preface, general information section of that. It's very helpful to understand what is going on. Okay, let's get down to business. Sudanta, meaning the discourse, is within the 3 baskets. And we know that in the suttas, or in the discourses of the Buddha, by learning the histories of, like Sharon just did, the histories of Buddhism, that Buddhism actually started in India, right? And it traveled north to China, traveled south to Southern Asia countries like Sri Lanka, like Thailand, like Burma, like Vietnam. Vietnam is kind of in between, Now those who traveled to the, let me see if I can find the slide that I want to show you. Here. Okay, this is like when the Buddha passed away, we call it enter the Parinirvana or Nirvana. Then the Sangha, we call, I think 30 days after he passed away, Mahakassapa, one of his great disciples, decided to call for the first assembly, okay, the first assembly. Now, you can see in the picture that the Sangha community actually split. This one, don't get scared by those terms. These are the elders, the group of the elders. Mahasanghikas are the group of more, big group but with the younger monastic. So if you look at the red one, trace it down, all the way down, and you see the word Theravadian. See that word? The Pali Canon are actually from that lineage. Okay, they follow the Theravadians. And later on you see this, Dhamma Guttaka, then Sutandaka. I think Don is very familiar with that, right? Okay, so this is how the Pali Canon or the discourses, the Vinaya, the three baskets come up with at the time first assembly. Now, who recite the suttas in the first assembly?
Oh, I don't know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading that.
Who did it?
Ananda.
Yes, our handsome, beautiful, respectable Ananda, venerable Ananda. Okay, I really like this guy a lot. When I go to the temple, when we visit China, I always look for his statue somewhere. Can we find that? So Ananda recited the suttas, the discourses. Who recited the Vinaya?
Upali.
Yeah, Upali. Now who is Upali?
One of the important disciples of the Buddha who was with him, who was an expert in the code of ethics.
Wow.
Conduct.
So you guys will be the expert eventually. So that was the first assembly. And Abhidhamma, there are actually controversial. Somebody would say that it's Anuruddha, okay, recited to be Abhidhamma. But the way to do it, go back. I hope that you receive all these hand notes. I just want to show one thing. Yeah. There we go. The way to gather all this information. They were not saying that, hey, Ananda, okay, you recite the sutra, and okay, we all believe you, Ananda. No. After he recited, the whole community of 5 arahants has to review it and approve it before they record it down. Okay. So that's how they did it. Now, in the Pali Canon, this is what we are going to focus. Well, that's my part of focus. The Nikayas, the Pali Canon of the Buddha, okay? Tipitaka, you know all these three. I am going to focus on the Sutanta here. We have 5. First one is called the Digha Nikaya, the Majjhima Nikaya. Digha meaning the lengthy, the long discourses. Majjhima is the middle length. Samyutta is a connected discourse. And Uttara meaning that it's numerical, arranged in a numerical way. And the Kundaka, well, it is translated as small discourses, but you can see that they are actually not small at all. 18 of them. Okay, 18 of them. Here is the Digha, the long discourse. It consisted of 3 parts. Now each part, like the first one is 1 to 13 suttas, discourses. Did you receive all these?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So that's the Majjhima. Basically, Majjhima is not Za'aha. This is the problem of the computer. I got the computer going. No, this is my problem because I just cut and paste. So I paste the wrong thing. So this is a medium size or medium length. Okay, now each part consists of 10 suttas, each of the parts. The next one, Samyutta Nikaya. Now that's the Da'ahan, the Chinese word right here. Okay. It's called the connected or joined together. Now, here, how many suttas? You see a number here. Bhikkhu Bodhi translated about 2,900 suttas in his 4 volumes. Okay, so I kind of checked the internet. It says that it ranged from 2,088 2,889 to 7,000 some suttas within the Samyutta Nikaya. So it's a lot. I don't know if I can finish one in this lifetime. Probably not.
3-month retreat, you'll make it.
Thank you, sir. That's a very good encouragement. Anguttara Nikaya. It's got different books. How many books are there? 11? But each book is not just, a book and that's it. Each book got its own suttas in there, like the Dhammapada Anguttara. Each one get different suttas, different discourses. So, but it's numerically arranged. And then this is the one that I was going to say. This is called the small discourses. But if you open the Dhammapada, how many are there? How many verses are there? A lot. So I hope that by reading all these, by getting all this information, it won't turn you away to some other religion. One Bible. Much easier. Okay. Here I have a comparison of the Agama with Nikaya. So you say that, you're talking about a Pali canon. How about the Agama? How about those from Pali, by the way, is a spoken language at the Buddha's time. So at that time there was nothing written. So it was like if I give a discourse, somebody will, his disciple, the Buddha will give a discourse, his disciple would record it. Sorry, it's not the recorder there. They will record it, in their mind and then transfer it into words, verbally. So it's by ear and by mouth. Okay, that's how they recorded at the time. So Pali, like I said, it's from which lineage? Yeah, the Theravada lineage. Okay, Sanskrit traveled north. Okay, they probably like cooler weather, so they travel north instead of going south. So they travel north through the Middle East and then to China. And it flourished in China. Sanskrit was actually translated. It was lost somewhere else, except still maintained in China, translated into Chinese language. Now you can see, I'm not going to go through each single one. So it's just an equivalent. So if you are interested in the history, this is the timeline. So which sutta got recorded first? You think that maybe the Digha, right? Because what? It's the longest one. No, it's actually the Samyutta Nikaya, the connected discourse was recorded first. Okay. Now, the Samyutta Nikaya comes in 3 parts. One is just the discourse, either long or short, but at least 1 or 2 paragraphs, at least. And then it comes in a form called the verses. The Buddha will say, anicca, anatta, dukkha, and then he'll walk away. A short, very short sentence by the Buddha. And then he'll walk away. And they will come to one of the great disciples like Sariputra, like Moggallana, like Anuruddha. They'll ask the question, hey, what the our big guy just mentioned? And then, the great disciple would explain that. Number 3, it comes in a way that, he will give a speech or discourse and people will record it. And when they record it, it's called the journal. We know the journal that we write it down. So it comes in 3 forms. Now the journal can be by the disciples or by the Buddha. So you see the timeline there, okay? And like I said, their procedure of recording is to recite the discourse, review and determine and finalize. And then they compile it into a categorization. That's how they do it. Don't forget, this is a teacher's training course. You're supposed to repeat all these later on. So, if you feel a little drowsy, there are many chakras. So help yourself with that. Now this is a piece of information that I would like to give everybody. If you're interested, then when those agamas in the Chinese language, we don't call it Nikaya, we call it agamas, okay? So if you're interested, when did they go into China and who translated it? You can go to the information like that. Now, this is the business that we're talking about. The principle of teaching.
Sorry, Katty, can you make your slide
Bigger?
full screen so that, yeah, that's great. Or just shrink the background or.
How about I scroll
Current
down?
slide. I think if you go up to the top left and do from current slide, it will just show your, that'll take you to the beginning, the one right.
Oh, okay.
And now if you just click to it, there you go.
Okay.
And then if you need to go back and forth, you can just press escape.
All right.
It's much
How
more.
about that?
There.
Thank you.
Okay, one more. Okay.
I have a
Will
quick-
this work?
Quick
That's
question,
better.
please.
Yes?
After the first Buddhist council, was there nothing actually written?
They are still word by word, I believe, right? Am I correct?
Oral.
Oral.
Okay, because I understood that, but then I also, they used the word text when I was reading, and I didn't know, to me that was writing, but maybe not.
Still verbal.
Okay.
I think that the group may benefit from hearing a very short rendition of Ananda and his experience before the first council. So the people have a little bit of more of a story about that. So if you would tell that little story,
To
I
wake
think
them
people
up.
would like to. That'll wake them up, right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, it should make all of this practice harder.
Okay. Well, Ananda was not being invited at the beginning because, Mahakassapa wanted 500 arahants, those who are fully enlightened. But Ananda at the time was a Sotapanna, still a stream entrant. We know that there are 4 steps. 4 steps of fruition, okay? So stream entrance is the first one. He was still a stream entrance, right? Am I correct? So Mahakassapa saying that, you're not invited because you're not an arahant yet. So he said that, I'll give you a chance, you work hard before the assembly takes place. So he was like working day and night, very, very hard, okay? But then, tomorrow is the deadline. He was still getting nowhere. By the time when, the sunrise, before the sunrise, he just gave up and said, forget it, I'm not going to get it. So he kind of, it's time for me to lie down, just go to sleep. I didn't sleep whole night working on it. So before his head touches the pillow, he became enlightened. You know why? Because striving so hard. I want to get it. I want to get it. I want to be, become an arahant. I want to get enlightened. The more you crave for it, you are actually running the opposite direction. So he can teach. I mean, I said the same thing. I can say a lot of the terms, but am I there? Of course not. I can tell you that, hey, impermanent, don't claim. But when situation arises, I'm still claiming. So same as Ananda at that point of time, he can teach people and say, let go, let go, let go. But he's clinging to the idea, saying that I want to be an arahant so that I can join the assembly. So he was running the opposite direction. By the time when he said, I'm going to let go, then that is the time that he got enlightened. So he got invited to the assembly, and very thankful to that, or else we won't have all these 7,500 some suttas over there. So as far as for the teaching, the principles, you have the notes. But one thing I would like to point out is, in all these teachings, whether they are antidotes, whether they are long discourses about the disciples' life, about the Buddha's life, or whatever, it cannot come out of these schools. Generosity, first thing. Sila, morality. Samadhi, concentration. And reaching the final goal of develop the wisdom. And this is not just smartness. This is not just the ordinary wisdom that we are thinking that I'm smart, I can memorize all those. No. Okay. The wisdom is what we call the transcendent wisdom. And all these, according to the teaching in the books that I read, it says, especially this book here. Can we get this copy somewhere?
Yes, they are all copy now. I would like to have more. They can send it for us, but they say out of copy. And it's especially one book that they didn't send for the whole set of for us.
Okay. Well, maybe after.
But online you can get online.
Feeling Meta Forest Monastery. But if we all go to see Thanissaro Bhikkhu, he will give it to us.
Oh, that'd be great. Maybe we should arrange a trip. So in this book, I find, the difference between this set of book from the Bodhi's book. To me, personally, I really like this set because it's much in the language that I can understand much better. Bodhi is very technical and very academic. And this one is very in a very simple language. But maybe it's because my language barrier. So all these suttas are teaching. Their teaching cannot come out of the schools like generosity, sila, or precepts, or moral discipline, the samadhi, mastery of the mind, and then wisdom. But all these are come from the volition. The most important thing is the volition of the mind. That is, the Buddha keep on saying that, train your mind, train your mind, train your mind. Because all our actions are based on our volition, our mental actions. And then technically, or for the purpose of practice, it talked about the paramis or paramitas. Okay? The way, how to do it, what to do. And then the basic, the foundation is the Four Noble Truths. Are we all familiar with all these terms? Cool. But he said that there are some steps that we should take. First of all, we have to listen. We have to learn to know what is the teaching first. That's why we have a pair of ears, right? And we can read. That's why we have a pair of eyes. I'm not sure about that. Can we smell? And when I was in college, I asked my professor, Professor Anuruddha. Turns out his name is Professor Anuruddha. That I said that, that was, my poly professor. And I said that there's so much, so many material that we have to remember. Is there a way that we can do it quickly and do it, wisely? And I asked Professor, can I put this underneath my pillow and by the theory of osmosis that it can slip through my brain so that I don't have to go through and learn it? And unfortunately, the answer is negative. So. Now, first we have to learn. Learning, and then what? The very well-known sutta. It's called the Kalama Sutta. Ehipasiko. The Buddha invites you to come and see for yourself. The Buddha said that don't believe what your teacher said. Don't believe what the scripture said. Don't believe whatever hearsay. You listen, and then you go home, you investigate. You think about it, evaluate it. And if this set of teaching works for you and works for the others, especially approved by the wise, then you start practicing. There is a yardstick of measuring. It is like, if I perform this action, practice this kind of teaching, if this is beneficial to me, beneficial to the others, do not harm myself, do not harm the others, then accept it. Pretty reasonable, isn't it? They don't believe, he doesn't encourage blind faith in that essence. So, according to Thanisaro's translation, he said that, the way to do it, well, I just mentioned it too, right? Thinking about it and then practice it is the next step. And then we have to experience it, not just understand in the intellectual level, but we have to practice so that we can experience. So that those are the 4 steps. Thanisaro Bhikkhu translated, if I remember, it should be from the Majjhima Nikaya. I don't remember the sutta's number. But he said that, what will encourage us to do that is to associate with a person with the integrity. Remember there was a sutta, I don't remember the sutta's number. It says good friends. Good friends is not half of the holy life, but it's the entire holy life. Right? Remember that sutta?
Ananda.
Yeah, Ananda. Buddha's teaching to Ananda. Okay? So associate with a person or with people with integrity. And here, Thanisaro Bhikkhu mentioned it. How can you tell if a person does have the integrity or not? He said that, look at this person. If this person is with gratitude, if somebody do something for you or for other people, what's happening in the mind? Okay, gratitude is how you identify a person with integrity. And then the next thing is the truthfulness. is this person telling lies a lot? And then, are this person's action harmlessness? And does this person possess discernment? Meaning that, is he knowledgeable? Or is he just functional? Knowledgeable? Okay. So, when you associate with the wise, you can observe. You can always observe, but not criticize. Observe, okay? Now, second step is listening to true Dhamma. And we emphasize on this word. True. That is why the Buddha said, do not follow me blindly. Go home. Do your homework. Okay? What are true Dhamma? That is our homework assignment. Find out what are true Dhamma. Okay? And then give appropriate attention. If you're sitting here listening to the talk and your mind is wondering, what's lunch? That is not appropriate attention. Appropriate attention means that your mind is here and now. Do not plan for the future. Do not remember whatever happened in the past. And of course, the last one is practice accordingly. Don, would you send everybody the link to this set of book? A very good book. I will send out reading assignments so that we can move forward on that. Any questions so far? One more point. I have to show my beautiful slides since I spent a lot of time on it. So this is the step, okay, how to practice. And you see that, when we read through it, we'll see, the step by step. This is a translation. I'm going to open this a little bit. In the Chinese language, you see this table here, okay? It only takes like what? Just a little bit of the page. But when I translate, I took out the whole page. And the meaning, it's probably not justified to the actual meaning because there are a lot of teachings in there, which I was going to say something about, especially like endowed with the 3 wholesome roots. What are the 3 wholesome roots? Homework. What are the 4 conditions that stream enter? Homework. Endowed with the 5 virtuous aspects of a Dhamma body. Homework. Fair? Not quite. But since I did my homework, you guys have to do something. I think my time is up. Any questions so far? Am I overwhelming everybody with all those information and your speechness? What? If that's the case, I am very successful. Okay, thank you.